One of the biggest challenges for coaches, practitioners, and hypnotherapists is getting clients. As coaches ourselves, we know how difficult it is on social media to stand out and gain credibility. That is why at Life Coaching Today, we connect coaches like you with clients. It all starts with our directory, where it's possible to create a profile that gets the right exposure with over 12,000 hits a month. You can gain credibility by writing for Life Coaching Today magazine, add videos, be interviewed on our podcasts, teach classes in the community, and sell your products directly from our website. Not to mention, we actually connect clients who are actively searching for coaches who can best serve them. So if you are struggling to get clients, have Life Coaching Today help you get more clients. Go to lifecoachingtoday.com.
Hey everyone, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back after this holiday season. It is Kadada Esmera Gray with CEO of Transform Living. I hope you guys have survived the first part of the holiday because I know I have. And I hope you got a lot of presents. I got the best presents this year. My mommy is here. My daughter is home from Kansas and she brought her 2 kitty cats. I'm looking around to make sure that I don't have cat energy flying across the screen. But yeah, so everyone is home. I even had baby boy here. So the whole crew is here. And even Zora kind of adapted. There were little cat fights on occasion. But what can we do about that, right? She'll survive it. So how was your holiday? So we have survived Christmas. Some of you all have also survived Boxing Day. If y'all know what that is, that's like the next day. That's where the upstairs, downstairs people of the British hierarchy, right? So if you were the downstairs, the servants, whatever, you got the following day, December 26th, off, if you weren't aware. And then if you were of a colonized nation, guess what? We get Boxing Day off too. So awesome, awesome, awesome. So good morning, good morning, good morning. We are supposed to have a guest, but you know how guest star can be sometimes. So hopefully Evan will show up. He is executive coach. Executive coach Asia. Want to get his perspective on organizational conflict and behavior, which is one of my jams. I actually have a degree in organizational behavior. And so that is something that we're going to talk about. If not, I got all the things, got all the tea on everything as we are shuffling into the new year. So I think, let me count because I can't do math first thing in the morning. And so we have 3 days, 3.5 days before the new year. And so I'm looking forward to it. Kind of. Sorry, guys. See, I got the new hair, right? Last time I think I had my little head wrap on and I was talking about how I spent like 10 hours in a chair to do this. So this was literally 2.5. So yay for that. And I don't have hair trauma because, little Black girls, we do the most with our hair. I will say this, though, that in reflection of 2023, one of the big things for me was that I had thyroid issues. And that is something that a lot of women deal with. And one of the side effects for me was that it changed my big 4C bushy hair, had the big afro, to making it very thin. So I'm trying to grow it back out, see what the new version of hair is going to be like. So that's just something that's on my list of to-dos for 2024. Can y'all imagine? It's 2024. I can't even think about when I was a little girl to think that 2024 was on its way. But we have about 3.5 days for 2024. I am heading out for work, for pleasure, actually for the first time in I think almost 13 years, I think, I'm actually going to go out for New Year's. I think. I haven't been out in years for New Year's. So we'll see how I survive that one. And January 1st, if you were in the DC area, you can find me on Facebook. Just look up the name because there's nobody else but me. Um, we'll be feeding our friends and brothers and sisters who are unhoused. And yes, unhoused is another word for homeless. Um, and who are hungry, and doing that great task to share something that is new for 2024 for me, and business partners and friends. And actually, that was actually started by a sister girl of mine who decided that she wanted to do something differently. And as many of you know, as a divorced chica myself, the holidays can be somewhat trying. And when you have new beginnings and new year, you want to do something different. And so she decided that that is how she wanted to spend her new year, feeding and serving others, which I love, I love, I love, I love. And talk about standing in truth and standing on faith and standing in purpose, and recreating and starting anew. And so that's what New Year's are for. Even though I am not a, okay, January 1, New Year, New You person, I am a start every day of your life today type of person. And so that has actually led me to, I think I told you guys last time, like I'm doing my cello. Pray for me. I don't know why I chose the hardest instrument on the planet to learn how to play. And I actually um, know how to play the bassoon, and the bassoon is really, really hard to play. And imagine marching with the bassoon, because I was a marching band chica. And so the cello and I are slow crawling, one pluck at a time. And if you're a violinist, you know you learned how to pluck, but my teacher won't let me pluck the strings. Won't let me do that. I've got to do it with the bow, and it's ooh. In fact, I think I'm going to have to get another cello because my cello might be just a tad bit too big for me. But practice soon come for that. The other thing I started um, in health and for stretching and all of those kind of fun things was ballet class. And I have been doing ballet, stretching, and that is actually a good workout. I was so glad, let me tell y'all, to see the sister girls in there, quite a few sister girls in there. And I'm not talking about the young ones, even though there were some young people, there were even two guys in there. Shout out to the brothers that were in there trying to get their dance on. Love it. Um, but I saw some elder sisters. I guess I'm an elder sister now. Wait a minute. I guess I am. That's weird. That's really weird. At 48 years old now. So we were up in there and it was all cute, you know. You're trying to stretch it out and kick and play and whatever. And until we were stretching and the instructor says, "Oh, time for splits." I promise y'all, I'm not about that split life. Um, that was a lot. Practice makes perfect. So maybe by the end of the year, I'll be able to do splits. But I did say this though, when I started to announce these fun things that I was doing, um, I now see, I had people on my page talking about, oh my gosh, you're an inspiration, you're a this, or I'm going to follow you. And listen, some of y'all out here are already doing all those type of things, right? I've seen people run for office. I have seen people write books. It doesn't mean you have to get them published. I just know that y'all out here writing books or writing poetry or standing. Listen, just stand up for yourself. That in and of itself is a dream because guess what? The world tells us we don't have to stand up for ourselves. Imagine that's the lie that's told there. So try new things, bring in the new year with a new sense of purpose and what can I do for me? Like I said, I'm 48 years old and I think I am on my 1200th career. And I feel like I'm like a cat. Um, which is important to say because I don't want anyone to feel like starting over is not an opportunity when we have a certain age. You know, I I don't like to ever hear people say, "Oh, I can't go back to school," or not when we have 90-year-olds getting their PhD. I mean, that's a serious opportunity. We've got dancers in their 50s. My sister girl, Jennifer, that was on the last time, she talked about her transition and her different iterations to get into. I mean, like, she's a Broadway star. I feel like she is just a star. And I know so many women and men that are living their dreams and doing things that we would have never thought. I mean, do you know how many candle makers there are, or people that are makers and creatives and just doing that outside? You don't have to be 22 to live your life, right? Life continues and it keeps occurring, and we are going to keep moving in that space. So, from the desk of Kadada, because I have fun stuff all the time. So, I want to show you the very first thing that I had that I love, I love, I love. Can y'all see this bag? Sorry for the glare, but it says, always remember that you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, loved more than you know. And this bag is a bag full of goodies that I have started to travel with. And so let me tell y'all the story. So a couple months back, I was in DC and I was at the Blacksonian. For all y'all don't know, the Black Smithsonian, and met a sister girl. And as we were sitting down and we were breaking bread over lunch and so forth, she pulls out her bag, puts it on the table, and was like, "Here, choose." And I was like, "Wait, gifts? I love gifts." And so she handed me a bag full of little Black girl stickers and empowerment stickers. And she was just like, "Yeah, I bought these down the street and from my house, and the sister girl down the street makes them, and I give them away to people that I meet." And I was like, "Oh, I love it." So I've got this big old bag of stickers. So y'all know, like, Miss Kimani got to choose her bag of stickers. And so let's see. I've got one that says, "And still I rise," right? Fun stuff. And girl gang. So fun things, right? Just to reset us. And then you know what? Look at the sister girl tribe of all shades. And so I plan on giving these out to men and women. Because you know what? A sticker makes us feel good. I don't care what anyone say. I don't care what anyone says. Um, and then, like, I even have words. Now, here's what's really interesting. Some of these words I can't read y'all because I'm really blind, but it's kind of hilarious. But this one says, "I like this place and could willingly waste my time in it." That might be a little challenging in the world that we are living in today because the pressures of the world are hard, but I promise you, carve out just a tiny piece of that space for yourself and you can live and grow in that space. It doesn't take much. If you notice, plants don't need a full acre to grow, not one plant. Um, and then before I move on to something else, but this one says, "Why sometimes I've believed as many as 6 impossible things before breakfast." Are you a dreamer? I'm a dreamer. I'm a dreamer. I'm a dreamer. I spend quality time dreaming. So that's one of the fun things that from the desk of Kadada. And actually, as I travel, I am taking this with me. And then also, wait a minute, I feel like just as a reminder, because the struggle continues, the struggle continues. And I feel like we just need to say, no justice, no peace, right? Take that to heart, because Lord knows we are struggling and fighting and moving forward in this space. So that's one thing off of the desk of Kadada. That's the fun things that I have going on, because I'm like, I have kids. I'm like a kid. The older I get, the little girl in me comes out a little bit more, it seems like. And I am on my way, on my way, on my way, on my way. Other thing is book, because y'all, I got 5 million books on my bookshelf. And so this is one of my favorite. I can't even tell y'all favorite books. And this one's called One Day My Soul Just Opened Up. This is an oldie but goodie from Iyanla Van Zant. And I just want to say I'm going to keep lifting her up in prayer because if I recall, this year, 2023 or 2022, I remember one of her children died. I think it was her daughter passed away. Um, and so this is 40 days and 40 nights towards spiritual strength and personal growth. And I don't know, like I got this book, oh gosh, it has to be 10, 12, 15 years ago now. And it was one of the things that like reset me, right? And I have notes in it. And I always jokingly say those moments when you want to fight people and you just want to be like, okay, what is the next thing? What is the next thing? And so the last week or so, I have no, it's been like 3 weeks. I have been on an emotional roller coaster. And without all the details, but I will say this that one of the things that I chose to do is not open up this book, right? Because this morning I said to myself, okay, I went to the bookshelf and I was just like, all right, what do I need this morning? Whether it's a reminder, meditation, philosophy, affirmation, and said, what is it that I need? And I recalled, like, in the moments over the last few weeks, I was really on the path of um, you've got to stand in what you feel, right? Stand in your emotions. What do your emotions feel like? And I am a big proponent, not healthy. I'm just going to say this, not healthy, um, but of compartmentalizing, right? That comes with real good practice. And I always say that I can take my feelings, put them in a box, and put them high up on a bookshelf so that way I can move forward. Now, here's the thing about putting them up on high on the bookshelf. I'm 5'2". I can't reach certain things without a ladder, and I'm not going through all of that, right? So it has worked to a degree. However, feelings always pop back up. Emotions always pop back up at some point in time. They do. And you have to deal with them, right? So as I was on this movement of a slow burn, of a roller coaster of a ride, as things have arisen over the last few weeks for me, I chose to do something which was stand in my emotions. And I promise you all, that is a hard task to do. It is a hard task to do. It's a challenging task because if you're not ready to feel what you're feeling, I'm telling you, you are in for the challenge of a lifetime because we are not really taught how to deal with our emotions, right? And even though I'm a coach, sometimes I don't want to deal with my emotions at that moment. Sometimes I have to push them off. And when I'm dealing with my clients, it's interesting when you are talking and engaging with someone and you can see them kind of cycling through their emotions and, you affectionately kind of address it with them. Like, I see that you're upset, right? Can you please tell me why you were challenged by those feelings? And or put this in your toolbox, people. I need you to tell people, tell your others, tell your friends, your family, your children, even yourself that it is okay. Your feelings are valid. Your feelings are valid, right? Now, here's the thing about validity of feelings that does not necessarily mean they're truthful. Ooh, they might be a little bit skewed in what you're thinking because your emotions will warp your understanding of what it is that you're going through sometimes. And so that is one of the challenges. So I was telling you all that I've been standing in my emotions. And it has been a journey of hurt and tears. And I am grateful that my mom was here, right? You never know what you need until that moment. Because my mom was here with me last Christmas. Yay. So to have my mom here 2 Christmases in a row has been super exciting for me. But I woke up Christmas morning like a little kid and not running for presents, but I went running to my mother. And when she held me, all I did was cry. Okay, because I was standing in my emotions. I wanted to know that I was scared. I wanted to know that I was hurting. I wanted to know that I was sad. I wanted to know that I was confused. Was holding tight to all of those emotions that I needed to feel. And I want you all to know it is okay to feel your emotions. It is. And you can do things about writing them out. You can go to, what are those things called? Because I've been giving a task by my coach to go to like an anger room where they beat stuff. I'm still not in that space. If y'all been to an anger room or whatever they call those things, please let me know. Because anger is real. Anger can be used for the positive and it can be used for the negative, and we see the negative more than anything else. Good morning, Carly. How are you doing? Good, girl. Good morning. How are you? I'm good. I'm good. It's a roller coaster, girl. It's a roll. You'll hear me talk about roller coasters because I love roller coasters. But it is a yeah, it's been a challenge, y'all. It's been a challenge. And thank you, girl. Thank you. Rage room. Listen, y'all want to go to the rage room? Let me know because y'all going to have to explain the rage room to me. Like throwing stuff? Won't do that in polite society. Hey, good morning, Miss Wells, with your pretty self. I would love to know how you guys deal with your emotions, whether it's the positive, the negative of them. Because guess what? I have to say this because I don't think people realize, do you know joy, happiness, those are positive emotions. And actually, our emotions come from the same space. Do y'all know that? So if you were to just kind of touch your belly, anger, joy, rage, happiness, they all start in the same spot, but you never thought about it. Because guess what? We tend to not move into the space of joy too often because it seems like if we are happy and joyous, it's taking away from somebody else. But when you stand in your truth, you've got to learn how to stand in your joy. And that's what I am practicing, and that's what I teach my clients to practice. But back to one day, my soul just opened up. Don't forget, I need y'all to tell me, have y'all been to a rage room? Are we going to if y'all in Georgia, y'all want to go on a field trip to a rage room? And we not only raging because the relationship broke up or your man was in the group. Am I dating him, sis? Are we dating the same man? Or it could be, guess what? You know what? Your parents died or somebody that you love was lost, right? But yeah, so one day my soul just opened up. I feel like this is one of the little black girl mantra books that we all need to have. So this morning I was like, Lord, okay, tell me what it is that I need to gather from this book. And I didn't flip through the pages. I just let the Lord guide me, as they say. And I went to the page. If y'all know this book, wait a minute. She don't even have page numbers on here, y'all. But anyway, it's phase 4, 180. Oh, okay, wait a minute. 183. And it's called Honor What You Feel. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, when you got convicted first thing in the morning, Lord, I'm convicted, something like that. Girl, we can go. We can go together. Do you know, I'm pausing because girlfriend over here said no rage room for me. But do you know there's a space in Georgia where you can like go drive tankers like in the military and drive over cars and stuff? That's the ride I need. That's like fun for me. So let's plan a field trip for that. But first and foremost, it says, God can heal a broken heart, but he has to have all the pieces. Now, I just want to say again, this does not always mean brokenness or frustration or anger or sadness. That does not only mean relationship. I just have to say that because I think that's where we always go. That can mean you can be broken because of something that happened in your childhood. That can mean you're having trouble on your job, all those kind of things. And so, but the point of this chapter is that you have to honor every emotion that you're feeling, even in the space of when it is the hard thing to say. Um, yeah, I don't believe in stoicism, which is a trait, a characteristic that is celebrated in the West. And what I mean by the West, the United States is Western civilization. We have some other westernized notions of what manhood or womanhood is supposed to be. And when we are stoic, right, we are kind of holding in and we are good about all of our emotions and we know what we're doing. We know how to handle them all. But that's false. Very false. Because guess what? We don't have class in kindergarten that's like, I need you all to sit down. We tried. We tried, but they're taking that out of schools and we're going to leave that alone too. Um, so honor what you feel. Okay, that's the first thing. And so I want to read a couple passages from you. I'm not going to do the whole like da 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 da. But one of the things that caught my attention is that Iyanla writes about unpleasant or negative emotions are merely expressions. That doesn't mean that they're right or wrong. They are just expressions, right? We are here to communicate. We are here to look in the mirror or share what it is that we're feeling. And whether that's on paper, whether we express it in song, whether we express it in poetry, maybe it's in acting. You know how much people's pain comes out in creative ways? So it's an expression. That's why people can resonate with all of those things, right? All those instances, all of those moments. And so one of the things I love about this is like, she's like, don't feel guilty for feeling that way. Imagine that, dear women out there in the streets of the world. Don't feel guilty for feeling the way that you do. And on the other side of the street, as one of us are walking down the street, on the other side, dear men, can you please feel and not have any shame around feeling? We need to own those kind of things, right? We need to own all of those feelings. And dear men, I really need you all to own your feelings too. Um, and don't let a sister girl, your mommy, your brother, whatever, sit there and shame you into the space of, oh my gosh, they were sad. Sadness doesn't only manifest itself in death. I just want to say that. That's a whole other conversation. Whole other conversation. Um, so she talks about not feeling shame or guilty around the feelings that you have. And she also states, because sometimes we just have to state what we need to state, right? And so you have the right to feel your thoughts and feelings. There you go. There's your validation for this morning. You have the right to feel that way. And like I said earlier, what you feel, that's going to be your truth. Doesn't mean that your truth is rooted in facts, but that is what you feel is to be true, right? So there's nothing wrong with that. And you have the right and the opportunity, if you are engaging with someone, to actually, you have the right to respond in a way that is healthy to your emotions. That, let me just say that, right? So if you're engaging with someone, and let's say you're not engaging with anyone, let's first start there, because I when I have to deal with my emotions personally, like I have to sit quietly. And I always say I need an adult timeout and I need real quiet spaces to reflect. And so that's how I'm engaging with my emotions. And they may come out verbally, they may come out in tears, a physical expression. Um, that's one way. The other way is, if I'm engaging with someone, that's why I tell people you have got to perfect the I statements of the world. I am feeling this way. It's never the you or you made me feel you. No, because that you, in the space of you, there's definite differences between the vision and of what the occurrence was and understanding of that. So the sun never looks yellow to the same people the same way because we know there's like 15 shades of yellow, right? So just know that once again, right? You have the ability to do that and share those feelings. Um, and I'm sitting here pausing for a moment as I am reflecting on the fact of what I have been feeling. And it's a journey, y'all. It's a journey. It's a journey. And when I sit with my clients, sometimes all we can do is sit. And sometimes we need a space of quiet and hold the space, as they say, holding space. I feel the necessity now to talk about something called a concept of emotional labor. Um, and that is the introduction of the emotions that I have and whether I impart them onto someone else, right? And asking them to carry the labor, the weight, the responsibilities of my emotions. And usually, you know how you have that friend that is always in crisis. Oh, and they call you and you're like, oh my God, I don't want to pick up my phone. They're doing too much, blah, 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 blah. And your energy is gone from 100 to a 0. Well, guess what? There is a proper way to ask someone to carry your emotional labor. And so, what that looks like is, and girls do this, women do this, chicas do this so much better, but it's the phone call. Hey, sis, do you have a minute? First question of permission. Do you have a minute? Because I would like to share something with you. Another opportunity to say for that person receiving and hearing yes or no. Um, and allowing them to say, yes, I do have a minute. What are you going through? Share with me. Now, of course, there's different iterations of that. And that is what you want. When someone gives you permission for you to unload your emotional labor onto them. And when you do that, they're now willing to share that load with you. And that might just be in the form of listening, that might just be in the form of, okay, I'm going to give back feedback to you about what it is. And so that is a very healthy way. Don't unload on people without their permission because it's a heavy weight to carry. That's why people cut y'all off sometimes because you were always the negative person. You are not asking for permission. You're not asking for the moment. You're not asking, can you share this with me? Right? Because, like, sometimes, like when my daughter, who's now 24, when she calls me, we had to have a long conversation when she was a teenager around, no, let me not say teenager, when she turned about 18 and up. And like I said, she's 24, that when she would be upset, I would say, okay, before we get started, I need to know a couple things. First thing, do you just want me to listen? Because, mom's a coach. Mom's got a whole thing going on in her head. Because then that allows me, if she just wanted me to listen, that means all she has to do is just pour into me, vent, dump it off, whatever she wants to do, right? That's very different than, second question I would ask her is, do you want feedback? Do you want to talk through this? Because then that gives me permission to share feedback with her, to give her my ideas and thoughts. And sometimes you got to tell people, I need you to go sit down somewhere because you're wrong for that. Yeah. So that emotional labor that we carry for others, that we don't do, that we don't ask for permission. So, Yanla continues in this book, right? Y'all can't see it, sorry. But she tells you what to do if you're feeling angry, which is you must forgive. Ooh, mm, 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 mm. Key. And there's some things I got to work on forgiveness for, no lie. But she says when you feel that you need to forgive somebody and earn in the space of anger, what you must practice is forgiveness. And she says one of the things you can do, which we're not really good at when we're practicing in this space, is put yourself in the other's place and speak to them, saying what you want to hear under the same circumstances. Can you imagine that? That's like going into a mirror and saying, you know what? Wait a minute. If I were that person, how am I feeling? Y'all, that is a practice. Practice makes perfect because only Jesus is perfect. And I'm just going to remind y'all of that. So that's a whole mood right there. But practice does make perfect. And I don't do it all the time. You know, I told you all I have a conflict management degree. Am I really good at conflict? Sometimes. Um, But when someone is really, really close to me, and I always think about concentric circles, I love a good circle, and I'm standing in the center. The people that are closest to me, I am probably not the best at conflict because I don't want anyone to get hurt. So, and so I interact differently than the person way out on the circle. And because it's too early to swear this morning, I really don't. I have a level of decorum that is necessary. However, if you come for me, I am going to match your energy. I hope I said that really well this morning. Um, so she just kind of goes through all of those kind of things. Um, and then unappreciated. I think a lot of us feel that in this space, especially coming out of the holidays. And when she said, you must practice non judgment because you don't know the space to which that other person is coming from. I might jokingly like to say some people just don't have any home training. Some people aren't taught to say thank you. Some people aren't taught to have gratitude. Some people aren't even comfortable with those spaces because of the things that they've been through. Um, and when you are doing that, I love the 4 things that she says as suggestions that you can do. And she says, examine your expectations of others, because guess what? We all have expectations of others. No joke, no lie. We do. The other thing is second, number 2, forgive yourself for judging others. Yes, you don't even think that you're judging others, but it is judgment when you're like, well, I expect you to do X, Y, and Z. Do something nice for someone else without attachment of anything to come back to you, to be returned to you. And the last is write yourself a love letter. Because guess what? You are fantastic and you have to come from a space of you. And it's hard to tell others who have been hurt, who are hurting, not to allow someone else to change you. But I do know that when God created you divinely, and I promise y'all this is not a religious podcast, but I do know that your good works in relationship to other and community, it is so vitally important because I think we need more of that in this space. So it is 7:39 and my guest did not show up, which is sad because I wanted to talk more about career stuff, but I will just briefly talk about a phrase called career cushioning. Now, it's amazing how in 2023, I swear we come up with all these words that I'm like, we've been doing this forever. So the phrase is called career cushioning, y'all. Basically, if y'all know what that is, hit me up and let me know. But basically, what it means is that you have a backup job just in case you get laid off. Once again, I'm 48 years old, and I thought that's what we all should be doing now. If you've ever been, I'm old enough to have been through a couple layoffs that I was very excited to get laid off at one point in time. But for the younger people, they need some catchphrases. So it's called career cushioning, and they say that is the newest trend in 2024. And we're not talking about joining the gig economy. We're talking about literally finding another 40-hour a week job, so that way, if you get laid off, and we've been in the space of all of these layoffs that are occurring in every industry across the country, that career cushioning, like I said, new trend for 2024 is the backup to the backup to the backup of the job. And as I close, one, this was timely, this was needed. I hope you all hear me on this. I hope that you all run and get this book. Yeah, one of my favorites. And I want to leave you all with a thought, because I've been mulling this over, and this is in the career space. So we know that there are our fellow brothers and sisters who are in this life with us. Some of us are completely healthy. Some of us are disabled. Don't come for me if I use the wrong term. But this stands out for me because there is a 43-year-old man, I think it is. And hear me out, because I'm not in the space of judgment. I'm in the space of questioning about dreams and where do we go with this. And he is in college, he's at university, and he wants to become a gym teacher. Key details of the story: he's 48. I think he's somewhere between 43 and 48. And he's also 400 pounds. And that is relevant to the story because he is asking for accommodations. In his accommodations, like I said, he wants to become a gym teacher, and he's suing, and I think it's Western State University. He's suing them because he wants the ability to not have to walk far. Gym teachers run up and down, or they walk, or whatever. I don't remember. I haven't been in gym forever. But he wants accommodations, so that way he does not have to be active. And I bring that up in the space of, what do careers look like now? What do jobs look like now? Because of course, the internet went wild over gym teacher. You're supposed to be the perfect health. You are supposed to be this. Is there such a thing as accommodations at this moment for certain job descriptions, for certain job titles? And I just been pondering that, because I was a little surprised, like, wait a minute. Gave me a moment to pause. But that's where I'm going to leave it, because I don't have any judgment. I would love to hear your thoughts on that. Find the story, but it is 7:43. Thank you. It was a blessing to be back with you all today. I will see you next Thursday. I will be in DC next Thursday, so y'all will get me from the hotel room. I don't know what the hotel room is going to look like, at 7 a.m. And so more to come. So I am signing off, you guys. Thank you. And early on, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. And I am out. Thank you for joining. Life Coaching Today presents.
Thank you for watching Life Coaching Today Presents, hosted by Kadada Gray and produced by Aruba Saad. Our mission at Life Coaching Today is to empower your health, business, community, and life. Check us out at lifecoachingtoday.com. Everyone here at the True Awesome Network would like to remind you to like, comment, subscribe, and spread awesome.